Hey, we're back.
Welcome back. We have a top 8 after 5 rounds of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, we do.
And as we saw last round, Alistair Cooper Gullick is on top of those top 8.
That's right. Isaac was like, "We're going to battle. I'm going to be top of the Swiss," and Alistair was like, "Nah, call an ambulance, but not for me."
So we've don't have the top 8 deck lists. They're on their way, but
They're on their way.
we know a few of them. Second place was Rowan Millers. Not sure what he's on, sorry about that.
We'll find out.
Yi Hua is on 4-color Snowco.
Yes, sir.
Justin Ventura is on Delver, Rug, I believe. Michael Mildren on Mono Black Reanimator. Place 6, we've got Isaac Egan. As we saw last round, he's on the Rug Delver. Number 7, we've got Jared Alsop. We also don't know what he's on. And final place, Jack Jiggins, also on Rug Delver.
That's right. Of those matches, we decided we're going to home in on table 4. We've got Justin Ventura versus Michael Mildren here.
With Justin being on the play, or at least the choice to play or draw.
Now I've got to figure out which one's sitting on which side of the table. That's the awkward part, isn't it?
I think the left-hand side of the table is mono black.
Well, I mean, let's zoom in. Let's get in here, and I can do this. Kapow, 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 kapow. Hiya.
Can swap it over if we need to.
There we go. All right, they got no names right now. We'll find out which one's which in a jiffy. Best of luck to the players. We're now playing top 8. We're untimed. No, they're good. They're good. Yep. All right. So on the left we have Michael Mildren. On the right we have Justin Ventura. Both of them being featured on the camera today already. I mean, that tends to happen. You know, your top 8 players tend to be, people that are winning. Mono B Reanimator. And we're ready to go. They've both got some keeps. They're ready to go. Is Justin on the right?
I believe it's right.
All right, cool. Yeah, cool. Sick. Let's get them back up there then. Kapow. Hello. Unkapow, please. Pow.
The technical terms.
That's right. Unkapow. Hey, robot. Thanks for the button. All right, here we are. Game 1, top 8, Moxing Day 2020. Here at Tabernacle Games at Maze of Fitzroy. Let's see. Let's see what we're in for. Hey.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Well, it looks like we're in for more mulliganing. That's, So, I mean, let's sum up Michael Mildren's deck in a single card, shall we?
I mean,
How? What do you think?
I don't think that's the main deck option. It's definitely a sideboard option.
Okay.
You put those in, you put in some Grave Titans, and you go a little ham with them.
See, that's what Michael does game 1.
There we go.
And to sum up Justin's deck in a card,
I believe it's Delver.
let me have a think here. No, I've got nothing to sum up his deck. Michael, on the mulligan, will the 6
Beta
do?
lightning bolts.
Alright, the 6 has been kept. Who was higher in the Swiss?
Justin was.
Justin was higher in the Swiss in the fourth seed. Of course, in the top 8 and the top cut, the higher ranked player has a choice of play or draw. So Justin with the choice of whether to play first or second.
Commonly playing first with the Delver deck.
Yeah, I mean you'd think so. Any deck playing days, being on the play is just so crucial. Being able to play a threat on turn 1 and protect it for 0 mana. It's incredible. I don't know what we're waiting on here. Maybe the players are waiting for us. I hope the players aren't waiting for us because they're going to be waiting a while. Static is starting to come back.
Okay, so it's apparently just me being at the table which causes this.
Let me know if it continues. Also, I really do hope the players aren't waiting for us.
I did that last one and I found out.
If you guys are waiting for us, you're good to go.
We're actually good to go.
They were waiting for us. All right. Good, good, good. We got there in the end.
Easy. May I write?
Alright, hopefully the static's not an issue.
Okay, so turn one, Justin opens on a Scalding Tarn and Michael opens on Thought Seizing himself. Shows off a Exhume, a Lake of the Dead, a Swamp, and
Reanimate.
Reanimate.
It's the name of the deck, mate.
What did he put in his graveyard? Because that is a
Glare
Blank of Light.
Incarnate. Yeah,
Yeah.
Look, we might poke our gaffer boy and see if we can get that adjusted.
Very like that again.
The static's still there, is it? I couldn't hear it. Let me know how it goes. So we're reading Lake of the Dead.
Thank you.
comes into play, sacrifices a swamp, then tap and sacrifice the swamp to add 4 black team mana pool. So eventually 5 on turn 2 if you want, or turn 3 even.
Yeah, I mean, it powers out a lot of mana. It really does.
And that's a 3/4 Goyf.
Yep.
Both players on 18 here. One player from Fetch Lands, one player from a Thoughtseize, I'm assuming.
Thoughtseize number 2, this time targeting his opponent.
Okay, I mean, that's, you know, typically that's where you want them to be. I always feel that if you're Thoughtseizing yourself, you're misclicked. But, you know, these
So
players
we've got
disagree.
Forcible Days, Oko, Land, Wasteland. So he's, I believe Justin knows what he's against and has kept a hand which is a lot more interactive than you would normally see.
Yeah, look, it's slow. It doesn't have a 1-drop.
I think from here you would probably want to take the Days and force the Forcible to okay. I was going to say enforce the Forcible pitching the Oko off when you cast Reanimate for the purpose of making sure your opponent can do as little as possible, but he's gone for the Oko instead, leaving him with both counter spells.
I guess the other option would be to take the Force. If your opponent dazes, then they're 2 turns off Oko anyway. But that depends on how much action your hand has. You know? If you're sitting on 1 action spell and a bunch of duds, then it's just a tight spot, honestly.
So I think he's going for the same plan next turn anyway.
But he took the Oko. That means that the Goyf is larger.
It does.
You know, the Goyf growing, and that's pretty significant. You know, at 16, going from a 3/4 to a 4/5 changes it from a 6-turn clock to a 4-turn clock. That's, you know,
At 3 at the moment.
nothing to be said of Lightning Bolt, but definitely a relevant shift in power and toughness there. Michael's he's got to come up with something, and he doesn't have time to sit back. The Goyf's providing pressure, and you know, every turn Justin has the opportunity to draw cards like you know, Brainstorm and Ponder, which will increase the quality of his hand further. Whereas Michael just has to deal with what comes off the top of the deck.
If you've got a land, I think you have to play it to win. You want to go Reanimate into Exhume.
Sure.
Playing the Reanimate does mean that you're playing around the Days.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
Yep. What? Yep.
Okay, goes for the Lake of the Dead
Going all
with
in here.
black mana floating.
All in here, you know? Not waiting around for anything. Let's get that card back up on the screen. It is an old one, and the wording is not what you would what it looks like at first. I've seen Entomb coming in here with the floating black mana.
A little bit surprised that it's not a come into play tapped effect as well.
Yeah, or maybe sacrificing an untapped land. That was something they like to slap on these old lands. But this one just,
Just
you know,
this one?
and it even taps for black. Like it honestly has a lot of the sort of fun policing restrictions that tend to go on these cards removed from them. Whether they
I believe at some point they did make a rule that any lands had to tap for mana, even if. And I think that was just after Gaia's Cradle. They discovered it didn't tap for one with no creatures in play, and they actually changed their design rules to make it so if you've got a land, even if it can tap for more than one, it should have something that makes it tap for one.
Yeah, you're right. Like Tolarian Academy, it's not that good because it just doesn't have the ability to tap for one. Sometimes it taps for 0,
And what a garbage card that is.
right? Who would play Tolarian Academy? It taps for 0 sometimes. What a joke. Garbage card. There's a bit of a think here on this Entomb. Justin trying to decide what he's doing.
Yeah, okay, so that
He's decided to let it happen.
gets resolved.
I think Justin was trying to think up the contents of Michael's hand there.
Is it something that if you believe hard enough, then it'll come into effect?
Absolutely, yes.
Magic by way of the secret.
So, what do we reckon Michael's entombing here? I mean, it looks like he's entombed some glare. Once again, we're going to try and get our resident runner to check up on that and see if there's anything they can do to help us here. But, you know, it could be Grizzlebrand, could be Titan. I'm not certain which one was thought seized away on turn 1. But you've got to assume that it's one of those two. Looks like it was a Grizzlebrand there. Grizzlebrand in the graveyard. No mana floating. And we're going to find out whether Justin managed to draw a second piece of interaction. Whether Michael's holding 2 pieces of gas.
Yep.
See, the Tarmogoyf did grow there from the sorcery. So it's land creature, instant sorcery, planeswalker now. And feeding the swamp to the Lake of the Dead. 5 black mana in the mana pool. This is what we said, turn 3, 6 black mana. But what's the payoff?
Okay, so we've got a Grave Titan at the top.
And a Grizzlebrand was entombed.
There we go.
That's slightly better, slightly better. Our runner will keep working on that, don't you worry. Is this untimed? Yes, the top cut is untimed. Exhume. Slightly better. You can... You can...
Seeing someone touch their graveyard is really awkward.
What do you mean?
I was like, people touch your graveyard. I was looking at the screen and it just shifted.
Oh, reanimator players.
Did you say, if you know what I mean, afterwards?
Alright, so force pitching days, and then reanimate happening on the Grizzlebrand. So turns out Justin didn't draw another blue spell, or if he did, he chose poorly. And now there's a 7/7 flying lifelink in play. This is not where you want to be if you're Justin.
Okay,
Wasteland.
So Wasteland's the land.
So it's a 7/7 and a dream, but I mean it's a pretty good.
It's
7/7.
a pretty good dream. If Justin does not have a Tabernacle of the Pendrel Veil in his main board, I don't know what's going to be happening there.
That's right. I mean, it's, you know, Caracas. I mean, the Wasteland was already played. Vapor Snag is the only playable I can think of. I mean, Oko, of course. Vapor Snag. It's an interesting position here for Justin. All right, manages to get the bolt.
Bolt number 1.
So trading.
Trading Bolt plus Grizzle plus Tarmogoyf equals Grizzlebrand dead.
Yeah.
So we're just having a quick explanation of exactly the amount of damage done.
Yeah, so Justin's got 1 card, 3 lands in play. The card in hand is a land. And Michael's sitting there with no cards.
There's nothing.
Plays something and discards it?
Looks like Michael's ready to go to the
Doesn't
next
do-
game.
oh, right. That was a white card, and that was,
That was an Iona.
an Iona, Shield of Emeria.
Yeah, ready to go into the next game he is.
So, let's
Decides
find
with
out
no
what's-
permanence. It was not worth his time. So let's pop back into the booth here.
Let's see if we've got some decks yet.
Yeah, see, so I should have access to a bunch of deck lists here. How about if I open this in a larger window so that I can see?
But you didn't have a creature.
Okay, so let's just quickly also grab those last two decks from the top 8.
Yeah, we hadn't seen Rowan or Jared. Let's see. Y block, it was a lethal attack. He was on 4 life. Rowan looks to be on
More Delver. That's blue-red Delver.
Blue-red splashing green. So it's similar to the Sean Brown style we saw
yeah,
before.
blue-red but splashing Oko.
And Jared's on Death Shadow.
And Death Shadow
Okay,
Delver.
blue-black shadow. So let's look at the sideboards for this matchup. What have we got here? We have Justin. Justin playing Rug Delver. His sideboard has 1 Brazen Borrower, 2 Clothis, 2 Pyroblast, 1 Red Blast, 2 Submerge, 2 Surgicals, a Sylvan Library, a Null Rod, a Blazing Volley, a Relic of Progenitus, and an Engineered Explosives. Graham, what do you reckon?
I mean, Clothis is good in this area, but it's not amazing. It's a little bit slow in terms of what it's doing. I can see Brazen Boa. I can see. I can't actually say Submerge. That's a bad choice, as Isaac will tell you. But just snapping down the Relic of Progenitus and the Surgical Extractions, and then considering some other things, like maybe the Clothis.
Clothis, you could see it over if there's any other 3s, but is it perhaps if he's playing Uros in the main deck? Let's have a look. No Uros.
No, it's just 4 Delver, 4 Arcanist, and 1 Hex Trinker.
And perhaps he'll fall victim to the sideboard plan of Michael with his pack rats.
Yeah, so this is.
On the other hand,
there's 2 Tarmogoyfs as well.
Michael Mildren, his sideboard, we're looking at 2 Liliana the Last Hope, 2 Flaying Tendrils, 1 Elish Norn, 4 Leyline of the Void, 4 Pack Rat, 1 Archetype of Endurance, 1 Sorceress Spyglass.
Yeah, so I'd probably go for the Liliana the Last Hope. Interesting. Liliana the Last Hope and the Flaying Tendrils here, and probably the Elish Norn.
Any consideration to Archetype of Endurance? Eh?
I think it was wise up.
I don't think it's really what we want here.
I think the fact
Yeah. So Flaying Tendrils, it's good against specifically Young Pyromancer, which interestingly we don't actually see in Justin's deck list
Yeah,
here.
it still kills off a Delver though.
Pack Rat, yeah, I mean 3 mana.
I don't think Pack Rat is where I want to be here.
Okay. Okay. What about the Leyline of the Voids? Do you reckon we'll see any Leylines of the Void? What's the plural of Leyline of the Voids?
Ley Lines of the
Is
Void?
it Leylines of the Void? Like
Are there
mages?
multiple voids?
Like mages generally? You know, we're
Magi?
gonna have to get a grammar expert in here one day to give us what for, you know? Alright, we're heading into game 2. Justin Ventura up a game, winning game 1 after his opponent had no permanence. Michael decided, I've got no permanence, I'm not going to wait around and, wait for you to find a card to poke me with. He just went out on his own terms, and that's fine, So you gotta choose your battles sometimes. Both players looking at a 7. Let's have a look. He thought he was above 10. He was at 11 after blocks. Death Shadow in the top 8.
Death Shadow.
That's,
It's a blast from the past, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Does it have the new 1 in black Death Shadow in it?
probably Scourge of the Skyclaves, I want to say.
Scourge of the Skyclave. Now, what would you name here on a blind Cabal therapy? I'd say
Delver of
Force of Will.
Secrets. Depends how long of a game plan you're going for.
There's a Force of Will and a Stifles is an interesting thing to keep in here. I don't think that's where I would be personally.
Tend to agree. Not much you can stifle. I mean, Grave Titan triggers and that sort of thing.
Grave Titan, a Grizzle Band draw, but yeah, not where I'd want to be, I don't think.
Chat telling us that because it's a proper noun, it might be Leyline of the Voids, and shout outs to Graham's beard. The beard to mask ratio is amazing. I would say that it's an isolation beard, but I mean, I've known Graham for much longer than isolation, and
I mean, I did chop it off in April. So this is kind of an isolation beard in that it got regrown since then.
All right, we've got a Dark Ritual coming out here. So
Going for the revised option.
Michael does know the contents of his opponent's hand. He knows what permission to play around. You know, he knows that there's a Days of Force and some wheel spinning. And there's Brutality, so if that takes the Force, there's really not much in the way of...
Sorry.
So there's no
Okay.
Can you ask Michael to move his graveyard to the left a little bit again?
Yes, I'll see if we can get somebody to run that message.
Like, it was literally just like...
Sure, yeah, let me poke our players and see if he can move his graveyard. Hello, friends. Michael, are you able to just shift your graveyard a little bit closer to the center? Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you very much. Oh, that's so much clearer. Look at that.
Just that specific spot of the table we're not liking.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, we're dealing with overhead lighting. We don't have specific lighting that we've brought in
So,
for the stream table.
based on what
I'm blind.
the fact that it's collective brutality that we're going from for here, I think he has to have exactly Entomb Reanimate left in order for this to pay off correctly.
I mean, Justin does have Days and Force.
Does he have days?
Yeah, it's the card on top of Force.
Oh, that's what I thought was Stifle. So yeah, it's just that I'm blind. Ignore everything I said about Stifle.
I mean, maybe you're right, but I think it's Days. We'll have to wait and see. Brainstorm firing off in response. That looks like a Clothis there. It's either a Clothis or a Standstill, and boy, Justin's brave, but I don't know if he's Standstill brave.
I've known Graham for about 4 of the same beard grown in succession.
Yeah, I mean, look, Graham's beard is something to behold. As someone who can't grow a large beard, I just have to settle for this one. But, you know. Alright, Brainstorm, Dunsky, opting to show the Clothis and the Oko and the Dreadhorde Arcanist. So we put back 2 cantrips, it looks like. There was a second Ponder and a the Brainstorm's been cast, never mind. So
I'd say there's a hate piece on top of my library, but I'm not 100% certain.
Instruments.
Oh, what am I doing? Okay, very possible.
yeah, so Force going down here. At least I can grow a beard.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's a beard of some sort. I'll tell you what, I cheat a little bit. My barber's a bit magic. All
Okay,
right.
so 2 black floating mana.
So what's the follow-up?
Gets rid of them. Passes turn. That was not what I was expecting, I'll be honest.
Yeah, the Dark Ritual just sort of, all it did was soft paid for a days ahead of time. Perhaps really just doesn't want to get caught by days, you know? Looking at the top 3 here, is that 3 lands?
There's definitely 1 land. I think it looks like a masterpiece again, so it might be the other art force of will, or it could be an actual
Very true,
invocation.
very true. And firing off the second Ponder. So Ponder, that was really strange. He pondered, looked at the top 3, took a fetch land, and is now pondering again.
I don't think he actually had land though.
Fair, yeah, I mean that's... Yeah, you're right, the opening hand was quite land-light. Okay, okay. Brainstorm, fetch land, something. Keeping.
Pass.
And passing. Alright, so here we go into turn 3.
See how long this game is going to go for.
Yeah, that's right. Big shout outs to everyone in the chat for hanging out today. It's a long day, and you've all been here with me. Here we are in round Q.
Round Q?
Yeah, quarterfinals. We're in the
Okay.
quarterfinals. Round the one after the last one. Round -1.
Round 6 at least.
Does it underflow? -63355.
Are we speed running this Magic tournament now?
Maybe we are. I mean, look, we've made good time today. There's been quite a few rounds finished a few minutes early.
There's not always what you expect to see.
Very true. So what are we going to see here? Could this perhaps be a pack rat? I mean, even if there is a pack rat
exactly how we
here,
decided to mulligan.
the pack rat, we do see the pack
We
rat
see the
come
pack
down.
rat. Okay, so he did opt for that.
It does get through the days, but it does run headfirst into this Oko. You know, Oko doesn't always manage to answer how would I say a threat like Packrat, a replicating menace. You know, watching this is better than the Test cricket. I don't know if the score's gotten any better since I last looked, but I had a peep a few hours ago, and I don't want to watch that game. I tell you what.
My understanding is that Michael's currently 1-for-0 in the second innings.
Ooh, so a Dark Ritual here.
Dark Ritual into discard a card to Packrat, but
The day's coming
guess
in.
that Days.
I wonder if you could have led with the Dark... You know, if you led with the Dark Ritual, there's no way that Michael's gonna counter it. And then I guess maybe he could just daze the Packrat to get you to pay that extra one.
Yeah, so it goes for the Arcanist. Do we have a Bolton board?
No,
Yeah,
it's all cantrips.
All cantrips.
Yeah.
Take 3. Start the land. Take the right.
Yep.
No death touch.
And
Yeah, just yeah, another pack.
Justin didn't play out the third... he dazed the land
So
back.
we've
Right,
got
right.
a rat token, which is technically a Packrat token.
Yeah, it says Death Touch on it, but Michael specifically says to his opponents, hey, this doesn't have Death Touch.
Number of rats.
And Justin, just making sure he understands what Packrat does, you know. If you didn't play Standard in exactly, I want to say 2014, you might not be familiar with this card. Standard in 2014 or Draft in 2013, where that card just rained hell. One of the few cards that LSV gave an S rank in Draft, I want to say.
Yeah. I'd play it in draft.
Alongside Jitte and the Zombie God, the Scarab God. It's alright in Draft. The problem is that there was very few answers to it in Draft. There was exactly one common, one uncommon, and 2 rares
Gross.
that traded with it in time. Because that's the thing, like, if you draw the removal spell on turn 4, too bad.
Sukiyama rats. Too many rats.
So the Oko comes down. Is it too little too late?
Goes up to 5, so we're opting for the elking option. It's a bigger rat.
Yep, elking the original rat and shrinking the
So
non-original
it's
rat.
not counting the number of cards called Packrat, it's counting the number of cards which
The
are
number of
rats.
rats. Yes, yes. I wonder if I can find a Packrat token on here. Probably not, hey?
I know that they made Llanowar Elf tokens in Shadow Maw,
Really?
I'm going to think.
That's cute for Llanowar Mentor.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh my gosh, why is Michael not playing this? Oh, oh.
That is a card.
That is sick. I like it. I like it a lot.
I know what, I assume that's a secret lair?
That is a secret lair drop, yeah, absolutely. And 3 damage coming across at the Oko. Big respect. Big respect. This is actually pretty interesting because the Oko can turn off a rat every turn and sort of force Michael to play Packrat as the card he draws for turn.
Still gonna get some things killed though.
That's exactly it. A 3/3, you know,
Especially the Oko.
if he keeps turning him into 3/3s, then he's not long for the world. I think the Packrat might have caught Justin by surprise here. He might be regretting the number of lightning bolts he left in his main deck. What's up, Zombub? Big Elves fan says that there's no Llanowar Elves token. Fair enough then. Attacking with the Arcanist, going to flashback a Brainstorm here. I know flashback is a keyword, but I'll say it anyway. 2 flip cards there. I've got to assume that they're Delvers. I didn't even see him use checklist cards in game 1. That shows how much attention I was paying. But yeah, it's a tough spot.
It definitely does exist. It's looks like the full-out ponder kind of cards.
Would you like to walk?
Would I like to? I wouldn't like to, but I might like to.
Interesting.
Take one.
Take one?
So, getting in with the Arcanist, flashing back a Brainstorm, you know, just not happy enough with his hand. Wanted to see if he could craft a better one.
Who knows?
Make a 3 token.
And 2 Delvers coming out, trying to gum up the ground a bit there. just to sort of, you know, see if we can untap with this Oko. That's, you know, if the Oko made a food this turn to try to survive. And it looks like... I don't know where to go with this. Elf Druid from Freyalise, that'd be good. What's a good sideboard for Packrat for Rug? Bolt, Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt from the main. Fourth Bolt doesn't really work because you don't get in early enough, but like... you can play a few random Pyroclasm effects, like...
Rough Tumble, baby.
Rough Tumble, yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah. The other option would, I guess, there might be some sort of colour hate card. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, leaving Lightning Bolts in. And that's the thing that Michael preys upon, is that his opponents have boarded out Lightning Bolts, because what does Lightning Bolt do to a...
Even to a rotting Regisaur.
Yeah, to, you know, to a Grave Titan. What is it? Lightning Bolt's embarrassing, that. But then these things coming out of the board and...
Yeah, so it looks like Oko's down. Yeah, I believe they didn't have tokens in packs at the time, so you needed to get it from... It might have been an FMM reward. I'm not 100% certain off the top of my head.
So we see the Delvers transform from the Brainstorm and then shuffle away the revealed card. No interest in it. You know, it was there. It served a purpose. Oko is dead, though. Blasphemous act. I mean, that is an answer, I suppose. You could definitely get away with something like Fire Spout or Rough Tumble, because you don't need to answer 10 pack rats. You know?
Well, you don't usually have the ability to answer 10 pack rats.
Once there's a third one, it's really out of your hands. You sort of want to get it stopped while there's 1 to 2 there.
Yeah, we're getting close. I think if you get to one more rat, then it's outside the area where Justin can actually deal with it anymore. I
agree, yeah. But once it's not boltable, I think it's a little bit too difficult to ask for a removal spell on it. So Justin just sort of trying to cling to his life here and see if he can pull anything out here. A mono black Reanimator just beating him up with 2 drops. Thinking on this Brainstorm. I'll tell you what, I want to see like you know in sports how they have like a possession meter that shows who had possession of the ball for how long?
Yeah.
I want to see one of those for like a matchup like this, you know, mono black Reanimator versus Brainstorm.
It is 3 rats on board and a 4th, which is a pack rat, which has been elk.
Yeah.
So 3 tokens, 1 pack rat. One pack rat elk.
The face down one is a pack rat elk, and the other 3 are token copies of the original pack rat. We see Clothis. So Clothis did come in to sort of shut down the reanimating side of things, but again, as you can see, Michael doesn't care. the deck almost can get away with like throwing game 1 to get him with this out of the sideboard. This as well as Rotting Regisaur, which attacks on a 3rd axis of just, you know, here's my 3 cost. What have you got for it?
So Clothis has gone back to trying to attack his graveyard.
Trigger.
It was on 19. He's getting in for 7. Yep. So down to 12. I mean, this Arcanist's gonna bite the dust here if Michael chooses to block. Game 3 will be tough for Michael. Depends. I mean, game 3 could be Rotting Regisaur. And even if there's bolts, you know, Regisaur's, it's going to eat 2 of them. And the other thing is, you know, both of these cards, the Pack Rat and the Rotting Regisaur, while they are costing you cards and that you're discarding them, that's a much smaller cost in Reanimator than it would be in, say, Justin's deck.
As Xenophos has said, now that Justin knows what this plan is, then he can definitely board around this as well. Does the Pack Rat keep his name? It does, but the Pack Rat counts the number of rats on board, not the number of elks.
Okay, so Michael didn't block the Dreadhorde Arcanist there. Perhaps just not knowing if there was a trick. He saw Become Immense from a similar looking deck earlier in the day. Could have been, you know, worrying about that in his head. You know, that's fair. As someone who's not, you know, accustomed to the ins and outs of the format and playing 100 times a week, I can definitely see where his stress is. We see
Okay, so we're going for rat number 4. Not quite lethal though.
Those guys are going to run out of dice. I know, I supplied the dice. Yeah, so 15 power there. Is it lethal on the crackback? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is lethal if the Delver transforms.
We've
Although
got
there's
9,
a
10
blocker.
plus a Colossus for 2, so he's...
Yeah, but there's the rat to block the Arcanist. But there's the brainstorm that the Arcanist would give back.
But there's the Colossus.
Yeah, I mean, this is a race. Transforming the Delver without even showing what it is. There we go. There's the pre-order.
Trigger.
Only slightly ahead of himself.
My free combat main phase and
Thanks to
exile
Colossus.
card. I will exile receiver.
Yeah, Clothis using the newer sort of post draw step.
And that's a game.
Okay. Well, that was an end to the game, and you know Michael put up a valiant effort there. 2-0 to Justin in the end. We're gonna transition back into the booth here, and then we're gonna, you know, we're gonna have to see what we're doing with our semi-finals. You know, I don't know how the other games in the quarterfinals are going. I'm sure as we get the results, we'll definitely put them in the chat for you so that you can keep up at home. And then as soon as the semi-finals start, we will be there. It might not be Graham, it'll be somebody. It'll be me, and somebody will be there casting the top 4.
We will see you then.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I say as I frantically press buttons.
Alright.